Hello again, everyone. Well, after 2 weeks in Russia, I'm finally back in my natural habitat, Arizona. And I have to tell you that I really enjoyed my stay in Russia. It was just loads of fun. And I learned a lot. I went there to see what I could see, and I learned a lot, which I'm going to share with you in future videos. I mainly went to see my friends Evgeny, Eugene, and his wife Elena, and their little crumb cruncher Katya. She's a little doll. Katya is she's just something. And as you know, all Russian kids, she's spoiled to death. You know, she kind of rules the roost, as they say. And they brought me as a gift. They bought me Eugene and Elena bought me this nice Putin T-shirt, and I'd wanted one, and so they bought me one. I stayed in a city that's just south of Moscow, and it's attached to Moscow. It has the same relation to Moscow as Chandler has to Phoenix. And it's the name of the city is Domodedovo. They call it Domodedovo, but they said pronounce it however you want to pronounce it. So I guess, you know, Domodedovo. A really nice place. There's a lot of interesting things to see, and I really did a lot of walking around and looking the place over. They have a wonderful birch forest. They're a municipal birch forest where everybody uses it. We had great fun. We went out and did a picnic. In fact, here's me and Eugene. We built a fire out there, and we were cooking some meat, drinking beer. And it was kind of cold, but it was just great fun. And but everybody does out there. They'll go out there and build a fire, and it's just wonderful. Went into Moscow several times, and in order to get there, we take a little jitney bus to the train station, and from the train station, you take a train about 45 minutes into Moscow, and then you run the metro all over the place. When I go there again, I'm definitely going to take rideshare. It's inexpensive. It's like, it'll probably cost like $20 into Moscow, which is I mean, I don't mind riding the train, but you know, with a rideshare you get there much quicker, I think. I stayed in a place when I was in Domodedovo. I stayed in a place called Dasin Hall. Eugene says, well, you know, Dasin is not a word in Russian, so somehow they got that name from somewhere, and it was all right place to stay. It was clean and quiet and inexpensive. And what more can you ask for? I mean, it was located right there within like a 5-minute walk of Eugene's place, Eugene and Lena. I went to Red Square and you know, walked around, looked the place over, got my picture taken. But you know, I don't go to places to see monuments. I don't go to places to say, you know, well, it doesn't move my needle. You go there just to say, okay, here I've been here, check it off the list, and then go find something to see that's a lot more interesting. And that's what I do. I look for interesting things. I'll actually take, in this case, in almost every case, wherever I go travel somewhere, I'll take my little camera. In this case, I've got a Nikon, I probably told you about this before, but I've got a Nikon L610. And this is a perfect little camera for the photojournalist, for the traveler, for the photojournalist. It takes double A's. And that's the main feature of it. You don't have to worry about recharging it. You just get a handful of double A's anywhere, and you're good to go. I didn't shoot much video, surprisingly. I took two camcorders, and I thought, well, I was going to be shooting a lot of video. It turns out I shot hardly any. Instead, I did the camera with the little, and did I must have shot 2,000 or 3,000 still pictures. Those I'll put in, and I'll share it with you. What I tend to do, and I might do a video on photojournalism, but what I'll do is I'll walk around and I'll see something interesting, take a picture of it, and then maybe I'll see it again. and then I'll see it again. And once you start to see this phenomena or whatever it is, you'll say, hey, that's pretty interesting. And so I came up with about a dozen interesting things that I'm going to show you in the future that I think is really, really fascinating for me. Then the next video I make will be the top 10 things that surprised me about Russia. There was a lot that surprised me that I said, whoa, I didn't expect that. So I'll do a video. I probably came up with maybe 20, 25 things. So I'll just pick the top 10 and I'll share those with you. As far as the language goes, it was pretty funny because, you know, I speak a little Russian, but when you're in a place like that, you don't want to risk it, because if you speak like a phrase or a sentence or something in Russian, the language, then somebody's going to like fire off a whole thing in Russian as you, like give you a whole paragraph. You can't possibly understand it. You get barraged and you go, and then you're embarrassed. So what I did is I just spoke English. You know, hi, how you doing? And I went shopping, I went to the grocery store by myself, went shopping here and there, and I managed to communicate. And what's interesting is that Russians, especially in Moscow, they understand a lot more English than they let on, I think. There's signs all over in English, a lot of different signs. And then you'll find English words written in Cyrillic, which is kind of fascinating. I mean, I'm going to show you that. That's one of the things that kind of surprised me, is you see these English words, but they're written in Cyrillic. So they know some English, you know, so I got along just fine, you know. I didn't have any problem, you know, getting around. But I will learn some more Russian before I go back. I'm going back in the last part of April, and so I'm going to be out of Phoenix here during the summer. I'll be out in May, June, July, probably August. So I think I'll stay there for that long. I got a 3-year visa, and I was kind of surprised that I got a Russian visa. I was really, and frankly, I was pretty thankful that I got it, because I understood it's kind of difficult, but Eugene says, no, they give visas no problem to people. In fact, they want to get some more Americans and more Europeans in there because they got like lots of Chinese. And the Chinese are all over the place, Chinese tourists. Red Square was just crawling with Chinese tourists. And so they said, well, they'd like to have some more Americans. And so I guess, you know, I don't know. But yeah, I didn't have any problems at all. Going through the airport or anything. What was pretty funny is when I got off the plane, I flew Aeroflot from LAX, and so I get off the plane there in the Russian airport, and I go through the whole thing, and I got my satchel, which is my personal piece of luggage, and then my carry-on. And so they didn't even search that. I went through the nothing to declare line, and the woman looked at me, she asked me a couple questions, but really she just stamped my passport. I went through, and then Eugene was waiting for me, and I said, well, you got to go collect my checked luggage. I had a big roller. Check that, and then go through the inspection. He says, you don't need to go through inspection. The doors were right there where they're going onto the street. I said, you know, and he said, no. He said, you went through the nothing to declare. I said, well, I don't have anything to declare. You know, I got like 100 cigars, and I think I had a couple bottles of booze or something. I had like 3 bottles. And no, he said, fine. So that was kind of interesting. Coming back through LAX was a totally different story. The TSA kind of looked at everything, but they were very nice. I got to say, the TSA were very nice. I didn't have any problems with them. It helps that I have a KTN, a known traveler number. So yeah, it makes their job easier. But yeah, in any case, you know, like I say, I pretty much, I really enjoyed myself, and I learned a lot, and I really can't wait to go back. I've only been back like 3 or 4 days, and already I miss the place. You know, I really do. And so, my next video here coming up, I'm going to try to do a video a week, and my next video will be, like I said, the top 10 things that surprised me most about Russia. So look for that coming up here in a week or so. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.